Hello, folks. I recently did a staff development and I used two platforms, Zoom and Peardeck, and I would like to share with you what my experiences were. So, when you want to do a presentation on Zoom and you want your participants to see your slides, you share your screen. So, most of your screen is taken up by the screen share, and that limits the number of participants that you can see on your screen. So I use Peardeck to get rid of that problem, to circumvent trying to share my screen. And this is how I worked on it. So Peardeck is a feature that is present as one of the add-ons to Google Slides. If you click on your add-ons on a Google slide, you would see an option that says Get Add-ons. Now, I have already installed Peardeck on my account, so I see that as one of the options. If you haven't downloaded that, then you would go to Get Add-ons. It opens up a bunch of features that go along with Google Slides. So this shows that Peardeck is installed. Okay, so now I'm going to start with slide 1 just like I would on a regular Google slide. So I put this information on here. These are my Connect virtual kids on Zoom. These are my face-to-face kids sitting in my classroom. And this is my instruction that's going on Promethean board. My kids are also looking at the same presentation on their own devices. The graphics that I have used are from Peardeck. Let's go to the second slide and let's pretend this is a chemistry classroom and I have a lecture going on in a topic in chemistry. I have finished giving the lecture and now I want to give some interactive options to my kids. So that's where I'm going to launch my Peardeck. When you launch your Peardeck, you would see a bunch of options appear on the right-hand side. On this particular slide, I chose the multiple choice option. That gave me the ability to pick three options. You could add more, update slide, and the screen has become interactive. Let's go ahead and add one more. Over here, I wanted my students to rate their comfort level on a scale of 1 to 5. So here I want them to enter a number. So when I do that, this screen also becomes interactive. Now, all that I have shown you until now is on the presenter side. Now let's see what happens when we play these slides using Peardeck. For that, you would have to go to the right where it says Start Lesson. So you click on that and it brings you the option student paced versus instructor paced. I'm going to choose instructor paced. And here comes the screen, which my students will use to be able to see my presentation on their own devices. So really, this is the only screen that I'm going to share with them with the help of screen share. So let's say that this screen has been made available to the students and they are required to go to joinpd.com. I'm going to show you now side by side the instructor view and the student view. The student has typed in joinpd.com and here's the space for them to enter the code that the instructor has provided. So I'm going to enter GIFBW. It takes me to my instructor's presentation. How are you feeling today? Feeling pretty good. And you see on the instructor side, it shows that one student is connected now. So let's go ahead and start class. The very first slide is my intro slide. And I start presenting my lesson. use this arrow to proceed to the second slide. So as you can see, whatever is on my instructor view is also there on the student view. However, if I were to toggle between different options, for example, my Google Slides, it doesn't change anything on the student view. And the cool thing about it is that sometimes when we are presenting, we want to look at the speaker notes. So this allows me to look at my notes while I'm presenting my lesson without changing the view that my students have of my presentation. Now let's see how the interactive slide looks. So remember, this was a slide where I had made a multiple choice question. Since this is, okay, so the three options that I had provided were right here. And let's say that the student picks variable composition. Let's see what the instructor slide shows. Show response. And there you go. You see that one student has picked this response. So if there were 15 kids in my class, all those 15 kids would have chosen one or the other option, and you would see the distribution of students who chose the right answer versus the incorrect answers. Moving on to the last slide. Here I wanted my kids to choose a number to indicate their comfort level. So let's say I'm feeling pretty comfortable and I want to enter a 4 as my response. On the instructor side, you see my response shows here. So again, if there were 15 kids, you would see these red dots distributed over across this range. Now, I want to end my presentation here. This gives you an option to save this presentation. I'm just going to end it without naming. And there, your students also see a completion of their presentation. So what I find really cool about using Peardeck is that I was able to completely circumvent the need to share my screen so that my students could see what my slides looked like. So I really enjoyed presenting my training session to the staff using both of these platforms. I hope you will enjoy it too and that you would give it a try.